Did you know that the Germans actually used green tracers in World War II? The other day I was watching the film Fury, a good war movie that I'm sure you've already seen. In it, there was a scene that caught my attention extremely, and that is that in a particular part, the protagonist's tank along with others from their squadron advanced head-on to face a group of Panzerabwehrkanone, 40 anti-tank guns hiding in a small forest. In this scene, we see how the 1004 Shermans were supporting the infantry that was stuck, because it was an open field and moving forward or backward would be the end for several of them. The scene effectively depicts the dynamics of battles during that era while being quite entertaining. Of course, completely ignoring the fact that the gunners of the Pak-40 missed all the shots without hitting any tanks that were 100 meters away and were heading straight towards them. And even having the element of surprise in their favor. Maybe it was these gunners' first day, even though their kill rings say otherwise. However, what caught my attention the most, of course, was the MG-42 gunner we see as soon as the combat started. He was firing green tracers, which I found curious. Similarly, this is something we can see in several other movies and several times in this same one. So it made me wonder, did the Germans use green tracers instead of red tracers like the Americans? And why did each choose one of these particular colors? Well, the fact that the Germans used green tracers on the ground, I highly doubt it, really highly. Although, in fact, it is something that possibly could have happened, so this scene really could have gotten this right. In the Second World War, the Allies, excluding the Soviets, used for their tracers mainly a mixture of strontium compounds, nitrates, peroxide, among other components, along with an oxidizing component such as salt, and of course the fuel, which was generally magnesium. When strontium burns, it gives off a beam of light that is unmistakably red. Hence the reason why the Western Allies had most tracer ammunition only in red color. In fact, this mixture is still being used to this day, only with many improvements that make the beam of light last longer. Red is a color that does not appear in landscapes, so it is perfect for seeing at long distances. On the contrary, green could be confused with saturated green landscapes at long distances, so it's not a very good idea to use it as a general tracer for your army. For this reason, something similar to green was never standardized or used in the Allied armies. If we're talking about World War II, in fact, not even in the early stages of the Cold War. On the other hand, the Soviets and their allies did create green tracers. The Chinese and the Soviets used them for much of the Cold War. Barium was used for their creation instead of strontium. In this way, a green beam of light was obtained instead of red. The tracers that the Germans used, however, were quite ambiguous, as there was no specific standardization and there were even multiple colors: orange, red, yellow, white, or even, and of course, green. So in air battles, you could see a whole rainbow of tracers for this reason. All of this, for example, we can see in these ammunition packs. All of these were tracer rounds used by the Germans. Right here it indicates that it is a tracer. Next to this it indicates the color of it, which in this case is a yellow tracer, Gelb. Let's look at this other one. This means that its range was between 100 and 600 meters. Here it indicates the color, which is white, and this B is key as it tells us that it is an enhanced ammunition, which indicates that it was used by anti-aircraft machine guns. It's the same for this one, but it says it's orange. But this box is the most interesting, Grunrut. That means it was green and red, which indicates that the projectile starts leaving a green trail, and approximately at 500 meters, the trail turns red. These in particular were useful in the air because this way you could simply see at what distance your target is. These last ones were called range rounds. All these ammunitions were used in the air, on ships or on land. With an anti-aircraft purpose on land, it was really uncommon for tracers to be used in the MG-42 because they revealed your exact position when firing, so this scene that we see in the movie Fury doesn't make much sense at first glance. However, it is possible that it did happen, since these ammunitions did exist. In fact, at this stage of the conflict, the Germans could barely supply their troops, so it could be possible that this machine gun had an anti-aircraft purpose, and they decided to take it off its tripod to use it against enemy infantry, or that these soldiers directly received anti-aircraft ammunition because it was simply what was available at that time. Tracers were stopped being used in the air for the final stages of the conflict in both the German and Allied armies. This is because it was discovered that when fired from bombers, these were counterproductive, as the high speeds and wind made the trails not 100% straight, causing a lot of confusion for defensive gunners. So it would make a lot of sense that if these were being phased out in the air, they were being given to the infantry. All these theories make it possible that this could really make some sense, but the most likely is that it is a simple mistake by the scriptwriters and that they simply wanted to highlight the German ammunition against the American ones by giving them a green halo. The movie has several other curious and striking scenes, including this particularly notable one, where green tracers come out like the shot of the town coming out to an MG-42 with green tracers, or like the battle against the Tiger, which is a bit unreal, really, as to why our protagonist's tank couldn't damage the Tiger if it had a Firefly cannon, or why the Tiger charged against the American tanks if they outnumbered it. Why not keep the distance and take advantage of their superior firepower? And also why at the beginning he attacked the last tank in the formation and not the first. This way he could stop the formation in its tracks. However, it seems like it was the Tiger commander's first day. In fact, the Tiger didn't have kill rings, so this last thing I said could be possible, but we're not here to talk about this, but about the tracers. The Tiger is also using green tracers in its machine gun, which makes this look like Star Wars. As I said before, this could happen, but they would be extraordinary situations. As we mentioned, range rounds were used to measure the shooting distance while you were firing the burst into the air. Why would a Tiger need them then? Was he going to shoot the Tiger's machine gun at more than 500 meters? It doesn't make sense. However, it's probably one of the most characteristic tank battles in all of cinema, so credit must be given for that. The last combat scene also comes out again. Machine gun with green tracers that contrast greatly with the American tracers, which are effectively red. The final scene is ridiculous. The Germans seem to run alongside the tank waiting to be shot at. Apparently, when they tried to flank the tank, they also forgot how to fire their weapons. And the strange thing is that 1 in every 3 German soldiers had a Panzerfaust. However, in fact, this scene is based on a real story, so we can't complain too much about it. In conclusion, this movie sometimes doesn't make much sense, and that's it. But if there's one thing that is true, it's that the Germans did use tracer rounds. Of many colors, including green, just not so much on land, or at least not as they presented in the movie. This seemed more like a critique of the Fury movie than a video about tracers, but I hope you still found it entertaining and learned something new about World War II. If you want to know more about tracers, I invite you to watch this video about why the Allies and Germans stopped using them in bombers. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one. Goodbye.